The November 18th Commissioner meeting to order. Please stand and join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We are at the point of the agenda for public comment on agenda items only. Hearing none, we will move on.
The draft of the 26th Tioga County budget is on display in our Commissioner hallway. It's also on our county website, and we will adopt that at our December 9th meeting.
Yeah, we had budget hearings.
October 29th.
I think we met with 5 departments. Met with 5 departments. We are proud to reduce the expenditures from 24, a reduction of over $400,000, and from 25, a reduction of $1.5 million. So we have been working hard to work with our partners at Human Services and all of our county departments. So the things that we do fight, that we see increasing, are obviously county salaries and utility expenses. They have gone up, especially utility expenses have gone up recently. So, but yeah, we're any public feedback on the budget's welcome. All right. We have the minutes before us for the October 14th meeting.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second motion for approval.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
I have the personnel items for today. For information, we have the following resignations. Stephanie Boyce from Office Manager, Civil Director in the Sheriff's Office, effective 10/31/25. Emmeline Howell, Corrections Officer, Tioga County Prison, effective 11/3/25. Jamie Balance, Intake Caseworker 1, effective 11/7/25. And Robin Martin is retiring next February from the District Court in Elkhorn, effective 2/6/26. Also for information for the board, we have the hire of James Severa, Director of Court Security, at $55,000 per year with benefits, effective 10/27/25. And Stephanie Boyce, she's going to come back in a temporary part-time office manager, civil director position to help out in the sheriff's office at her rate of $20.39 per hour with no benefits. And it says 11/17 on the agenda, but she actually, in talks with them, she actually had started 11/2, so just to make that annotation in there. For approval from the board, we have hire of Zoe White, full-time telecommunicator in training and emergency services at $19 per hour with benefits, effective 11/17/25.
I'll make motion for approval.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
The next item for approval would be to hire Kimber Wheeler, part-time telecommunicator in training and emergency services at $19 per hour with no benefits, effective 11/17/25.
I'll make a motion for approval.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
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 The next item I have for approval is to hire Curtis McCullen as maintenance worker 1 at $17.50 per hour with benefits, effective 11/17/25.
I'll make motion for approval.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
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 The next item for approval is to hire Jennifer Fisher, ongoing caseworker at $18.30 per hour with benefits, effective 11/17/25.
I'll make the motion for approval.
I'll second the motion for approval.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
The next item for approval would be to hire Sarah Kerr, foster care caseworker at $17.80 per hour with benefits, effective 12/1/25.
I'll make motion for approval for Sarah.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
The next item for approval would be to hire Shelby Smith, custodian, at $13.50 per hour with benefits, effective 11/25/25.
I'll make the motion for approval.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
The next item for approval is to hire Carolyn Pidco, caseworker assistant, at $16.65 per hour with benefits, effective 11/18/25.
I'll make motion for approval.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
The next item for approval would be to hire Nehemiah Spencer, part-time on-call corrections officer at Tioga County Prison, at $13.81 per hour with no benefits, effective 11/2/25.
I'll make the motion for approval.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
And the last item I have for approval would be a status change for Malachi Dodge to go from part-time to full-time voter registration clerk at $16 per hour with benefits, effective 11/17/25. This is contingent upon the position and salary board.
All right.
I'll make a motion for approval.
I'll second that.
We have a motion for approval and a second. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Next up is the Tioga County Soil Conservation District. Each year, there becomes a position vacant for farmer director and public director, and we need to appoint one of each.
All right, so for the farm director, is that the first one?
The farmer
Yeah.
director is first.
We have multiple nominations here for the farm director. What's on this page?
No.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you. So for farm director, we have Mary Ann Bishop as well as Derek Coolidge. I'll entertain a motion. I'll make a motion to approve Derek Coolidge for the Tioga County Conservation Board of Directors
I'll second that.
for the farm position.
Okay.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
And then for the next position, for the public director, we have Jennifer McCarthy and Todd Webster. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion to, for Todd Webster.
All right, we have a motion for approval of Todd Webster.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Next up is the appointment of Sam Van Loon as County Commissioner Director on that same board for one-year term beginning January.
I'll make the motion to appoint Sam back to the board.
I'll second. We have a motion and a second on the floor to appoint Sam Van Loon to the Tioga County Director for the Conservation District. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Next up is an agreement with Zielinkovsky Axelrod to continue audit services for the county for the following years as listed.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Next up, in accordance with Pennsylvania Consolidated Assessment Law, the Tioga County Chief Assessor certifies the county municipal tax base for tax year 2026 is valued at a total taxable value of $3,839,328,080.
All right, Josh, the floor is yours.
All right, so the assessed value certification this year includes not only our normal changes that we see year to year, but also changes to the tax base due to required adjustments to clean and green values based on Act 89 of 2016, which required counties to freeze values that were in place at that time unless the agricultural soil rates or agricultural use values published by the PA Department of Ag decreased below the current county rates, which that did happen this year. These changes will take effect for 2026. Property owners that are enrolled in the Clean and Green program will be getting change of assessment notices. They'll be going out this week. with an effective date for 2026. To give you a summary, Class 1 soils, which is a ranking system that the department uses, saw a 20% reduction. Class 2 soils, an 18% reduction. Class 3 soils, a 13% reduction. Class 4, 11% reduction. The Class 5 through 8 soils, which are going to be your poor quality soils, those reductions range from 6 to 7.5% overall. So we'll be sending out roughly 6,300 change of assessment notices. Approximately 82% of the properties enrolled in Clean and Green will see less than $100 reduction in their total annual taxes. But again, it's across those 6,300. The average savings will be about $56 per year for property owners or the farmers that are enrolled in the program. There were no adjustments to the forest rates. They actually went up, so those forest rates remain frozen at the 2022 level. Just to give you a quick summary, the majority are going to see less than $100, but we do have around 1,000 agricultural properties that'll see between a $200 and a $500 reduction per year. And then there's around 21 properties that'll see between a $500 and a $1,000 reduction per year. So it is a substantial impact for those Clean and Green properties. According to the information provided by the PA Department of Agriculture, for 2026, the values have experienced a statewide decline. This was attributed primarily due to the increase in the 10-year average interest rate that they use in the calculations of these soil values, along with both decreases in the value of agricultural production and average corn yields. So it's based on the agricultural market presently, and when these values drop, counties are required to implement those changes. So.
And we were notified by the PA Department of Ag about
Correct.
those changes?
Yes, they publish those rates every year. We just finished processing those changes because, again, we have to go in and implement the new rates, recalculate all the values on those properties, and then that was part of our certification process that was required by November 15th. So we sent notices out to all the municipalities that explain the Act 89 changes with the certifications. They went out on November 7th. So.
Thanks, Josh. You do a great job for us and for your community, so appreciate all your work. And I'm just going to summarize real quick. There's a slight reduction to the Clean and Green ag values across Tioga County. Is that correct?
Correct. I mean,
you gave us a lot of information,
Yes.
which is great. And I know you work on it every day and really appreciate your expertise in that. But I think in general, there's going to be a slight reduction in the value to Clean and Green property.
Yeah, it's going to impact the farms that have the better quality soils more so than like the woodland or the poor quality soils. So.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Josh.
Thanks, Josh.
Next up.
We better, hold on a second.
Okay.
We need to probably approve that, right? Do we need to approve
Really
it?
don't need to.
Okay.
I would say.
Okay.
I think they have in the past. Okay.
We haven't voted on it.
Okay. Okay. No, it's fine. That's fine. No, that's-
It's kind of a statement line.
Okay. Thank you, Josh.
Next up is a request for potentially funding the 16 county fire departments in order to have what's called CADLink, which is required for them to receive data from our 911 center. And we have Lisa here to further explain that.
Yeah, so every fire department in the Commonwealth is required to report to NERIS, the National Emergency Reporting System. Right now, when a fire department does their reports, they have to physically go in and enter every bit of information, including where the call was, who made the call to them, what units responded, the times they responded. It's very tedious and time-consuming. When we moved to our new computer-aided dispatch system last January, we purchased a link that would allow us to spill information to those fire departments, to the system that they were going to be using. Excuse me. In late August, I'm gonna say, the State Fire Commissioner's Office made the announcement for what software they were gonna use. That software that they selected was a product called Emergency Networking, which is different than what the departments had been using previously, which was emergency reporting. Now that once we knew what that was, we finished the completion of that spill link so that we could actually spill the data to the software that the fire departments are using. Meaning when they get back in their station, they can come in, they can copy over the information automatically, and the only thing that they have to do is sit down and put in their narrative for what they did. All of their times are there. Huge time savings, especially for those departments, which all of them here are, that are volunteer, that are spending hours and hours out fighting the fire and then coming back and having to sit for hours to complete paperwork. The cost of it is $500 per year per department. Some of them had made the decision that they were going to move forward with it and try it. There were many that said, we don't think we're going to do that, we'll just keep sitting and working on putting the information in. I think it's beneficial for the support of our departments to provide this to them, at least for that first year, and then reassess it after that and see what the thoughts are moving forward.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa. I think this would be a benefit to our, local fire departments, and we want to be supportive in any way we can to those folks. So I would entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second motion for approval.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Next up is payment of $200,000 towards the Westfield Township Helen Hill Bridge project, and that would come out of the Act 13 Bridge Transportation account.
I'll make motion for approval.
I'll second that.
By way of discussion, Westfield Township reached out to us, I want to say, before the flood,
Yeah.
shortly before the flood, and they were interested in replacing a wooden bridge in Westfield Township and asked us to be a partner with them. They applied for a PennDOT MTF grant and they were successful, but they were short some funding, so we agreed to come alongside them once they figure out how much it would cost. In the interim, the flood hit and FEMA possibly will be reimbursing the partners with Westfield Township for their contribution. So we are hopeful that this $200,000 will be reimbursed by FEMA and we can put it back in the Act 13 transportation account. But right now we need to help them pay the bills and get this project completed. I believe the bridge has been demolished and the concrete box culvert should be coming here in the next few weeks. So we have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Sandra actually got this morning. Next.
All right, so, sorry.
That's okay. The district attorney's office has some information that came to light this morning about Nighthawk software that could be used in her office.
Floor is yours. Thank you.
The floor is mine. So I'm going to start out with a question. How many of you have something like this with you right now?
Well, not a lot.
Because the sheriff's department doesn't let people bring them in. Is that what it is? I know you all probably do have them. This little piece of equipment is spying on all of you right now. As we go about our business, it collects all of the data about where we've been, who we've been with. If we had any iPhones in here, it would be connecting with those iPhones. We wouldn't even know that it was happening, but I hate to think about how much data is in my phone. It's getting old, so probably years worth of data. You could imagine that probably when there are crimes committed, the police might want to know what's in this. And one of the weaknesses that we've had in our county and actually in Troop F for a while is that we didn't have any really good way of downloading this and analyzing the data in the phones. It's a real weakness for our system since, I guess probably...
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Told you, they're spying on us. I hate to think, the majority of our crimes have something to do with cell phones at this point. We use them for all different kinds of things, and we didn't have any really good way to look at it. So several counties have gotten together to purchase software. It's relatively new software called Nighthawk, which not only downloads the data from phones after we get a search warrant and do all of the legal things, but it will also analyze that data, put it into some kind of format. Because you can imagine they used to send us a thumb drive with the data on it, and it was just pages and pages and pages, and you had to really know what you were looking for. This program will now organize that, so if we know we're looking for GPS locations, we'll be able to go into that, or the police will, not me. But we've worked with Potter County, Clinton County, and there's another county as well, but I can't remember who it was. They put in their money first, so actually we got the best end of the deal, because the last piece of it is this, I forget what it's called.
Leads Online?
It's a search, yeah. It's the Leads Online, which is only going to cost us $2,300. I originally asked for $3,000 for the Nighthawk, but it is, PSP will be using it. All of the police departments can benefit from it. They can send their phones there, and they will do the work for them. Computer crimes, PSP Computer Crimes serves 9 counties. They have 2 troopers and a couple of analysts. They are way backed up in looking at stuff. So this is going to be like a huge plus for PSP and our municipal departments. So I appreciate the county being willing to come into this and help with purchasing this piece of software so that we can have this information available to us in a more timely fashion. So we don't have to sit officers have to sit hours and hours and hours scouring through tons of, hundreds of thousands of pieces of data. So appreciate you being willing to contribute. I think it's $2,300 for $4 for this piece of that whole program, so that we can now have this asset available to the police departments.
So Sandra, this is if someone committed a crime and there was a search warrant to get their phone, to get the information off from their phone, correct?
Yep. So it has, I mean, I'm just amazed. Even to just take your computer and do your Google searches to see all of that. We've done search warrants for Google. Just huge amounts of data that it's Big Brother is watching us. Those of us who are old enough to have read 1984
Yeah.
thought it was never going to happen.
Yeah, no.
It is happening today, so thank you.
Thank you, Sandra. All right, I'll entertain a motion for the Nighthawk software. I guess, should it be changed to Leads Online
It should
software?
be probably Leads Online to be official.
Okay. Yeah, is this a one-year agreement?
It is a
Yes.
one-year agreement, and then PSP is going to pick up the licensing fee after that.
Well, this is a win-win, seems like.
I'll make a motion for approval of the Leads Online.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Next up is, there's actually 2 different agreements with Northern Tier Solid Waste Authority for dumpsters for the Human Services Complex.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll take a motion for both of.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Next up is a 1-year preventative maintenance contract with Hunter and Lumison for maintenance of the generators at the addresses listed there.
And this is a reduction from our current
Correct.
provider.
Yes.
Okay. I'll make a motion for the approval.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Next up is a renewal of contract with Pitney Bowes for the postage machine.
I'll make the motion for approval.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Next up is a 2-year agreement with Delta Development Group for project and grant management.
By way of discussion, Delta Development has helped us with many grant opportunities for our community. Some of them, the flood mitigation project over in Mansfield. Right now, there's a current grant request to our federal partners for $4,122,000, as well as a DCD statewide LSA grant for $500,000 and a small water, PA small water and sewer grant for $500,000. So we are working on the Mansfield flood mitigation project. We're also working on the Wellsboro Community Pool Project. We've partnered with Wellsboro Borough and have an LSA application submitted for $500,000, as well as a DCNR Community Conservation Partnership Program grant for $1.2 million. We partnered with Southern Tioga School District and Blossburg Borough for the Island Park Sports and Recreation Improvement Project. And grants right now submitted through Delta for the Community Conservation Partnership Program for $412,000, as well as a DCD Trails, Recreation, and Greenways grant for $250,000. We have a DCD Multimodal Transportation Fund ask for some bridge replacements across Tioga County with a $1.8 million ask. We have multiple RACP grants submitted. One of those is for Northern Tioga School District track and field renovation. There's actually 2 projects there. And Delta Development was successful in linking us up with the governor's office. We've made an ask to extend from the governor $2.4 million in a RACP request for that project. And hopefully now that the budget's passed, we start hearing some outcomes of these grant requests. We're also partnering with Westfield Borough on a sidewalk improvement project and have a grant application submitted to TASA, which is Transportation Alternative Set-Aside Program through PennDOT for $1,079,000. So,
In short, we work them a lot.
we work them a lot, and they have been a benefit to our community, and look forward to helping townships. So right now, we're working with Nelson Township, which we'll talk a little bit later here on the agenda, about an LSA grant application. They are still struggling with their water system in Nelson Township. So we are going to help them out as much as we can, submit for grants and request state and federal money.
Yeah, and Delta Development, this is where I wish that I would have known that the county had Delta Development when I was mayor of Blossburg, and could lean on them a little bit and ask them for some help in grant writing. We do work them. I don't know if there's any other county that works them like we do, but we have a lot going on with them, and we're happy to use that service for the community. So we're trying to bring everybody up at the same time. So I will happily make that motion to accept
I will
it.
second the motion for approval.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Next up is a installment land sales agreement between J.M. Greenfield Real Estate and the county for the properties at St. James Street in Mansfield.
So as many of you probably are aware, for the last 6 or 7 years, the county has tried to redevelop these 2 facilities in Mansfield Borough, as well as sell them. We've talked to 2 different developers, and we just haven't been able to make the funding work. We tried going the private sale route, I'm gonna say maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and was unable to make that work. We recently reappraised, or had the buildings appraised again, and the value was $1.3 million. We had been talking to a local real estate group, and they were interested in buying it at the appraised value. So we're just moving those conversations along, and to be honest with you, it's going to be a huge savings to the county to get these facilities out from under us. We are going to, a little later in the agenda, talk about a lease agreement. We want to continue to operate our county programs over there in that facility, but our county programs only take up a small amount of space over there. So with that, I don't know if you guys...
Yeah, and the maintenance on the building, of course, I've been around building construction, and you know, rental properties forever, and the maintenance of the building is a lot. And I personally, I think these guys feel the same way. We shouldn't be in the rental business. You know, it's not our job, and that building should be on the tax rolls. And, you know, it's good for Mansfield for it to be on the tax rolls. It's good for the county for it to be on the tax rolls. And if someone's willing to step up and run that, I do feel pretty passionate about keeping bridge housing. I think that that's a really valuable asset to especially the recovering community, helping people get back on their feet, and I don't want to see that go away. But by no means do I feel like we need to own these two massive buildings and all their problems.
Yeah, it's a win-win. We can get this project going on. Mansfield is our second largest town, but like with the college there, the schools there, it's largely untaxable. So it helps them a little bit with some of their needs over there. So I think it's a win for all of us. So
Yep, so I'll make a motion for approval.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye.
Aye.
Next is the lease agreement with J.M. Green Real Estate for the lease of those 22 apartments for bridge housing.
I'll make a motion for approval of that.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye.
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 Motion carries.
Next up is what's called an agreement of exchange between Tioga County and the Commonwealth for property up by the Veterans Affairs Clinic.
I'll make a motion for approval.
I'll second that.
This has been a long time coming. I think Fred's worked on this for a year and a half to get this property transferred. Essentially, it's going to be a lot addition to the property that houses our VA clinic. Right now, the parking lot is extremely small, and with this additional lot addition, we're going to be able to expand that parking lot and finish out the renovations for that facility. We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye.
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 Next up for signature is the agreement between the county and AFSCME for the prison corrections officers.
I'll make a motion for approval.
I'll second motion for approval.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye.
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 Okay, next up is an agreement between AT&T and the county for placement of a cell on wheels at Dutch Hill Tower facility.
Lisa, can you give us some details on what's going on?
Sure. So the previous vendor that supplied AT&T service to this area is no longer in business. Another vendor, which is under AT&T, has taken over the service of that area. Part of their requirement was that they had to be able to show that they were actually providing service to the area. As a result of that, they need space at Dutch Hill, and we're going to talk about it again here a little bit further in the agenda, but they needed space on the top of Dutch Hill in order to be able to provide that service. The placement of a cell on wheels is a temporary answer to them to be able to meet their deadline of getting it up and functional. We would like to do the 1-year lease with them. Actually, they wanted to do a 2-year, and we said, no, we're not going to do 2 years. We'll do 1, and we'll reevaluate it at the end of that year. If we need to extend it month by month, we can. We also worked with them to bring up what their offer was for that lease agreement to $750 a month from what they initially wanted to do.
Great. Thank you for your work on that. Any more questions?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye.
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 And next is another agreement between the county and AT&T for costs associated with construction of a Dutch Hill Tower facility, as well as their presence on that tower.
Seems like a good deal.
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
I'm glad we could partner with,
Yeah.
AT&T and Verizon. They are leasing up space on our towers. It really is helping us pay for the ongoing maintenance and upkeep of those facilities, so.
I'll
So
second.
keep finding us leases.
Yeah.
I'll second the
I'll
motion
bring
for
them on
approval.
in.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye.
Aye.
Next up is the adoption of Resolution R-1825, and that is for a statewide LSA grant to be used for the Nelson Township Water Resources Upgrade Project.
All right, I'll read it. This one is short. Be it resolved that the Tioga County Board of Commissioners hereby requests a statewide local share account LSA grant not to exceed $1 million from the Commonwealth Finance Authority to be used for the Nelson Township Water Resource Upgrade Project. Be it further resolved that the applicant does hereby designate Mark Rice, Commissioner, and Rachel Courtney, Planning Director, as the officials to execute all documents and agreements between Tioga County and the Commonwealth Financing Authority to facilitate and assist in obtaining the requested grant. I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make the motion.
And I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye. And that's all lottery money, correct? The lottery, the local share?
That's actually from gambling casinos.
Yeah, okay, that's right,
Yeah,
right.
from the gambling money, so. I think even some of the skills games
Okay.
goes into there as well, so.
Next up is to adopt Resolution R1925, same ask from the same pot of money for Phase 2 of the rehabilitation of the Wellsboro Community Pool.
Be it resolved that the Tioga County Board of Commissioners hereby requests a statewide LSA grant application not to exceed $1 million from the Commonwealth Financing Authority to be used for Phase 2 of the rehabilitation of the Wellsboro Borough Community Pool. Be it further resolved that the applicant does hereby designate Mark Rice, Commissioner, and Rachel Courtney, Planning Director, as the officials to execute all documents and agreements between Tioga County and the Commonwealth Finance Authority to facilitate and assist in obtaining the requested grant. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion for approval.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
I did have some in case you need to request them.
All right.
Next up is a discussion on the Grand Canyon Airport Authority.
All right, so back a couple months ago, Matt and Ken came in and talked to us about the possibility of forgiving the loan to the Grand Canyon Airport Authority. We dug through some information to kind of find out how we got to this situation. It was before the three of us took office. And it looks like the commissioners committed a portion of money, I think around $500,000, to match a RACP grant to build the hangar at the airport, the new hangar up there. And there were some project overruns, I believe, totaling somewhere in the $600,000 range. There was some excavating work that needed to be changed because the airport's on top of the hill. There was a lot of rock and unforeseen conditions they experienced was one of the issues. But again, there was about a $600,000 overrun. The commissioners committed $300,000 of that overrun, and the RACP grant covered the other $300,000. We can find documentation that there were letters from the commissioners to the airport authority stating that it would be a loan for $300,000, and there was some language in there about terms to be considered. Repayment terms were to be considered within 2 years. We can see where that deadline wasn't met. However, Ken and the authority agreed to terms to pay back the loan. I think it was originally $2,000 a month, and then Ken came down with the authority members and negotiated that down to $1,000 a month. And the airport authority paid that loan for 2 years. And in January 1 of 2025 of this year, they made the decision at a board meeting, unbeknownst to the three of us, that they were no longer going to pay on that loan. And there was, some concerns on their side that they thought it was a loan, and they had asked us to, they had asked the three of us, being new board of commissioners, to turn that grant into turn that loan into a grant, which we had told them we couldn't do that at that time. I have also talked to two of the three commissioners. One of them was pretty passionate about it, that it was a loan. I think Eric agrees that it was a loan, but understands the financial situation that the airport is in, and the three of us completely understand the financial situation that the airport was in. So I think that's some of the history. I don't know if there's anything you guys wanted to add to that. I don't know if there's anything Ken or Matt want to add into that as well, but
We do still have the same struggles. I mean, we are a group of volunteers who are trying to keep an airport open, which I do think is very crucial to the community. I mean, we talked about that before. In the past 2 months since we've met with you the last time, thanks to Matt's connections, we have been very, very strong on meeting with entities from Mansfield College, Penn Tech, and we have American Airlines coming in the beginning of December. I did talk about the fact that the airport, or the Pilots Association and the authority was very instrumental in getting the classes in up at Wellsboro High School. If you haven't been up there to see these classes, it's amazing. These kids have an interest. It's not just pilots, it's all portions of flight. One of the members of our advisory board, Jim Stevens, his son was one of the first ones to go through the class. He's now training pilots in Virginia, but his passion is to stay in this area. Jim Stevens does prove the fact that you can fly around the world and still live where you want to live,
Sure.
in your hometown that you want to be in. So we are pushing hard. It's a struggle, but at the same time, we've got 5 guys who are trying to keep this airport that we adopted, or inherited basically, years ago, that the state didn't want anymore and nobody else wanted it. And I had mentioned at the last meeting, if we lose it, we lose it for good, because they don't come back. And I think it's an asset to the county. And it's not just our county, it covers Potter and surrounding areas. So we are working hard.
Sure.
And you have current requests out for funding from the state and federal partners?
Pardon?
You have current requests out for funding from federal and state partners?
Yes, Matt has reached out to see if we can get more out of that.
Yeah.
Because our biggest issue is, and we do have, like I said the last time, we have a project coming up in the spring where we do get funding from PennDOT and BOA, but we always have that match. And right now, beginning of next year, we're looking at $90,000 match, which will drain us from everything we have. Our income comes from the hangar rentals. We are pushing, and hopefully American Airlines may be talking about a BOA coming in. You know, that is our dream, to have an operation that's functioning up there. But in the meantime, we depend on our hangars and our fuel sales. And for a while, we had royalty income, but as we know, gas royalties disappear. And you can go from really having some nice checks coming in to nothing at all, which is what we're down to now. So we struggle to keep up with the matches that we have. And this coming spring is just a small project compared to what we're looking at for the runway over the next couple of years. And it's the basic of day-to-day, year-to-year of cutting trees down, which, again, you've got 5 authority members that volunteer that are out there cutting trees down to keep us open. And we struggle because we need PAPI lights. But again, it's an important, we feel it's very important to the community to have that airport there. Go ahead.
Just a point of clarification, whatever funding we may be fortunate to receive from the federal or state government would be project-specific funding. There's no flexibility, there's no discretionary funding. It has, every nickel, every dime has to be spent for infrastructure improvement to the airport. And the reason we made the request of the commissioners for this consideration is all the money that we are able to save, and it's been pretty tight, will go to complying with the state and federal local match requirements. And so when Ken mentioned that other project for the spring, that's pretty much going to wipe out what we have been saving for the last year or so. And so it just creates an undue financial hardship to try to pay off a loan that was created 10 years ago and trying to deal with that. We've got all these pressing needs at the airport if we want to keep our airport and keep the inspections relevant and approved, and moving our one and only airport for 2 counties, basically in Tioga and Potter County, open. So we appreciate your kind consideration.
Okay. Yeah, I was actually talked to the maybe pause the loan, and then once you get the discretionary funds, you can pay us back. So I was not aware and I was told by Representative Owlett that he would urge us to say, pause it, and when you got money that he's fighting for you, you could pay us back out of those funds. So that's not true?
As I understand it, all these monies from our consultant has to be paid to the project that is requested under FAA, federal guidelines, and state guidelines.
Even the discretionary funds that would be given by the members?
As far as I know, we don't have discretionary funds.
I mean, again, guys, I think we could do one or two things. We could pause the payments since we're not getting paid anyway. We could pause the payments and, reassess it in a couple of years. Or, we make determination either way if we want to forgive the loan or not forgive the loan. I mean, I think those are our...
Yeah, I want to see it advance. I've talked to pilots up there who are frustrated with Pappy Lights. They've been there for 2-3 years. So I hear their concern. They're thinking, I'm paying for a hangar, I'm paying to use the airport, and it's substandard. So I hear the frustration, and I can't answer the question of where the money's going. We have one employee, we have volunteers. It doesn't seem like a huge amount of money's going out. I know it's not a lot of money's coming in either. So I want to see it flourish. I am an aviator. I want to make sure I'm doing that, but I want to make sure we're being accountable to our taxpayers. Because we can say over and over again, it's helpful for the area, but selling to the other 41,000 folks who don't fly there, it's a hard sell to say, we're going to let it go. So I see both sides of it. I want to move forward. I don't want to have this linger on for years and years. So my personal self is we'll acknowledge that it was defaulted on, we'll forgive it, we'll move past it and go on with our lives.
Yeah, I think that's the best. For me personally, I think after going up there, seeing what you're trying to do, seeing how hard you guys are working, Matt, you being on the board, I think is a huge asset, quite honestly, with your connections and
For sure.
and I think that we're beating a dead horse at this point, So I would make, was that a motion?
I would make that as a motion.
All right, to forgive the loan.
Acknowledge default and forgive the loan and move forward.
All right, I will second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Guys.
We appreciate that. And just to let you know, we have a 5-year plan, $11 million in expenditures if we can get the funding. And the Pappy Lights, I found out at our meeting this week, is going to be $500,000 by itself to redo the whole thing. I was hoping for temporary quick fix, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So that's on the list too.
I appreciate it.
As a high priority. So
We've tried to resurrect ours, but they're obsolete.
Yeah.
And so that's what we go back to, and to have it engineered properly so it passes inspection at the end of it all. As Matt said, it's $500,000.
Yeah.
Which we have to wait 2 years if we go with the plan. We're trying to move that up because it's between the trees and the Pappy Lights. It's a constant struggle. But
Well, the condition of the runways.
Pardon?
The condition of the runway is a concern as well?
It is, and we are addressing that. We are having it cored when they do the other project in the spring to find out what the state actually left us with. We found out that with the apron, I think I mentioned before, the state built it, but then when it came to repairing it, they didn't accept the base on it, so we had to go a little bit further. So now we're concerned about the runway. But again, we're trying everything we can, every avenue, and this educational part, Matt's Connections and American Airlines, we're really feeling positive over the last couple of months. And we're going to get somebody in there because the income is low. We have, if it's not for the gas wells, we have rentals for the hangars and we have fuel. And the fuel does okay, but the expenses, as we talked about, just exceed it right now. So we do appreciate your support.
How many youth do we get from the schools to go up there for the American Airline program or the aviation program? Do you have a number on that?
When they first started the experience flights, we had probably 30, 40 students from different schools coming in at a time. We had 5, 6 pilots flying, and they were nonstop for 3 or 4 hours. It's been, and again, if you haven't been over to the high school, have you seen the classrooms over there? I actually, for the first time, got to go into the classrooms when we had these meetings. And these kids are ecstatic. And it's not just flights, it's not just pilots. It's, whether they want to be a mechanic, whether they want to be in the towers, it extends that experience for them. So it's something we want to continue, and maybe we're trying to get a satellite school up at the airport so they can be on the property learning. It's a long-term plan as we talk to these colleges, because nothing happens overnight. But we're working hard to get that part of it up there so that it creates a business for us.
We're hoping that eventually, if our plans come to fruition, that American Airlines, the Flight Academy, Commonwealth University, and those partnerships can draw more students, not just from Wellsboro, but from the entire county to participate. There's a tremendous need by the airline industry for pilots, mechanics, and avionics in general. So we're excited about this meeting. This is our third or fourth meeting. We met with Penn College, we met with Commonwealth University Mansfield, and so this last meeting, or maybe last meeting, is going to be with American Airlines, the Flight Academy, and Commonwealth University, and hopefully we can build some really encouraging prospects for those students and the airport.
Great. Thanks for the update.
Next is discussion on the Upper Toga River Regional Authority loan.
Again, this is a loan that the previous Board of Commissioners entered into to provide some seed money to the Upper Toga River Regional Authority for design of the Utra Water Project. As I don't know how many years ago that was, but again, I think we're
over a decade.
Yeah, about 10 years ago or so, and really the same situation. This money was essentially seed money for design. As we got closer to construction and estimates, costs went up. The authority was able to get additional grant money, but the three of us want to keep the cost down as much as possible to the end users. Right now, it looks like those rates are going to be between $65 and $70 per resident or per household. So we want to make sure those costs are down, and we received a request from Utra to forgive that loan to help assist with keeping those costs down. Again, I think that is important to keep the cost down for those folks. And again, this is a loan we're getting tied into from the previous board.
Yeah, and the good thing is these guys, that board has been together for a long time and working hard at it, and they never gave up. They had some things in the works, and they had some cost estimates, and then COVID happened. And of course, after that, you guys know that everything has gone up since then, and this really helps them get things over the finish line, keep the user rates low, and they'll be installing pipe here in a couple of weeks. So I'll make the motion to forgive the Utra loan.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second to forgive the Utra loan. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Next up are the Tioga County real estate refunds as listed.
I'll make a motion to approve as listed.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Next up on your agendas are a listing of 16 agreements with the Department of Human Services.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion for approval.
I'll second motion for listed contracts.
We have a motion for approval for the listed contracts and a second. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Next is for information, the October 2025 payroll and benefits was $1.4 million. October 2025 accounts payable is $3.4.
All right. We're at the point in our agenda for public comment. Joy.
Joy Townsend, Middlebury. On the St. James, is there going to be interest charged on that?
Yes, there is 2% interest on that loan.
What is the process when the county's selling something as far as letting bids go out? Like
We have to
state-
follow county code. It's, and essentially, we have to appraise the property, and then we have to sell it for appraised value.
On another note, AI data centers.
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys researched that, but I didn't know about them until like a week
Yeah.
or so ago, and wow, that's quite interesting. Does the county have anything in its ordinance to be prepared?
I'm
We'll
going to
talk
speak to
about
that
that.
in a minute.
Are you?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
you're just one step ahead of me.
Okay, I didn't know that. Thank you.
I would also like to recognize the students that are here today with youth leadership. Is there anything you would like to share? Maybe,
Ask questions about?
yeah, come on.
Curiosities?
Maybe state your name.
Aaliyah Hilfiger,
All right.
Reagan Krzyzewski, Easy Johnson.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And yeah, how is the program going for y'all?
Good.
Good? Yeah, you enjoying it?
Yeah.
I think we get to give you guys a tour, a little here in December
Yeah.
of the courthouse. And yeah, great. Thanks for joining us today. Any other public comment?
I forgot.
You already had your turn.
I know, I
No.
just about the audit report.
What's
The
that?
audit report that's available out in the lobby.
Sure.
Our public report.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah.
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 So if anybody wants to look at the county public report for our audit, that's out there, and on the website, we have the DCED report link, and we also have the Zelinsky Axel, I can never say their name, the
ZA,
outside
yeah.
auditor report is out there also.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. All right. As far as next meeting, the Tioga County Board of Commissioners is scheduled for December 9th, 2025. And for Commissioner news, Shane's going to talk a little bit about data centers, but at first, I want to recognize that we did complete some stream work. We were able to remove some debris, quite a bit of woody debris, 2 gravel bars, some metal debris. We put 3 projects out to bid about a month and a half ago with real short turnaround. And we had a local contractor bid and get that work done. We needed to have it done by November 8th. I think we were done on the 6th. So just barely got that in under the deadline for FEMA. But those costs, I think it was a little over $100,000, will be reimbursed by FEMA. And if we get that money, or when we get that money back from FEMA, we are planning to, again, reinvest that to clean streams and debris in our waterways. So excited that we were able to get that work done.
Yeah, there's a lot more work that needs to be done, but it feels good to get something over the finish line over there. So about, I don't know, about 2 months ago, I guess now, maybe a month and a half ago, the planning department came up and said, hey, someone got a hold of us about AI data centers. And so we're kind of like, what? And then we ended up meeting with the guy and kind of just listening to his pitch. And so long story short is that right now, as we all know, AI is a huge thing and data centers are a huge thing. It's a big push by President Trump to get them out of China and into the United States. And it's also a big push from Governor Shapiro to get them in Pennsylvania. So this is one of those very unique situations where people have the same goal. I'm not saying they work together, but they have the same goal. And so when we were approached at this, right off the bat, we kind of went down the rabbit hole and was researching everything because I honestly had no idea what it was or what it did. The things that we found that were detrimental were water usage was huge, takes a ton of water. And we definitely didn't want anything to infringe on residents around it. The other thing, honestly, was the amount of electricity that they use. It just takes an enormous amount of electricity. The reason they picked Tioga County to come here is because we're natural gas. That's what, so they can generate their own electricity. from natural gas resources. So they initially showed us a couple of spots. One of them was it seemed like a good site. No close neighbors, kind of away from everybody. It fit all their needs, their natural gas needs. The other spot, not so much. It kind of surrounded a house, and we all talked, and look, the bottom line is this, that we have, and we told them right off the bat, we have some really good farmland in Tioga County, and that's a huge part of our economy, and will be for a long, long time, I hope. And we have some real scenic, beautiful spots, and tourism is becoming a huge part of our economy in Tioga County, and we don't want anyone to come here to go on the trails and walk past the data center, or we don't want to go have anybody come here to enjoy Tioga County and this big monstrosity of a building is there. So with that said, we started, talking to data centers about maybe some possible spots that would be suitable. The Planning Commission jumped right in, and we said we'd have to get guide rails on this now, before anything. So they have already started the process of the ordinance specifically for data centers, Roy. And Kay, do you want to? I hate to put you on the spot. I know you're not a big
I can
public
talk to
speaker.
you if you want.
Yeah.
Well, it just, we've been working on the data center ordinance with the planning commission and you guys to get something that works for everybody, that talks about those concerns, about the water and about, the electricity, which again, they'll be using, the gas, so that'll kind of take the electricity out of it. Sound is a big one, and we set our goal for the sound. They agreed to it, so that's good. We'll require a study, a noise study, as part of the construction.
And the water usage, they use a closed loop system, so it's not just using the water, it's evaporating out, and it's just the big water usage that they talked about. And when they said screening and buffering, setbacks from the lines. Lighting came up, but we already have that.
We have our lighting ordinance, they will have to follow that.
And the benefit here, guys, is jobs. Look, they're talking about maybe could be up to 600 jobs in Tioga County.
Is that just for building it, or is that?
No, that's the long-term jobs. And the upfront, they said each site would, have like 200 people building it, the construction jobs of it. But I think as long as we have the right ordinances in place, and we have really thought this through, the benefits of that. When we were running for office, something that we heard all the time on the campaign trail was, what are you going to do to get jobs here? And honestly, what do you do? Manufacturing, y'all, is gone. We just heartbreakingly lost Ward Foundry in my community. It's like these jobs, believe me, if there was a way for us to get manufacturing here, I promise we would do it. I've tried to do it. I just don't see this as an opportunity to create jobs that I don't know is going to come along again. And I feel like environmentally, I like to think I'm pretty environmental conscious, and I don't want to see a detriment, but good paying jobs coming to our community is hard to pass up, not to mention the tax base for our school districts. So there's the benefits to me if we have the right guardrails on it.
Yeah, I think we're being proactive. I think the gas field came, and we all can agree there's a lot of good things. Act 13 is great. A lot of bad things came too.
Yep. This
is more controlled. It's not going to be as widespread as far as the impact on the communities. You're not going to have trucks driving through every single back road, So we can kind of control that. They are being good partners. They are asking for our opinion, which we have value. They aren't just coming in and buying private property up and developing on it. They ask for our input, our concerns. We have our folks in Harrisburg look into it, same thing, make sure we're not missing anything. We've talked to township supervisors, make sure they're okay with it. So we don't want anything to be forced on people's throats. I think we've vetted it pretty thoroughly, multiple angles. I think we're all in the same mindset of like, we don't want our kids to say, hey, we gotta leave here to find work. We wanna bring jobs here that our kids can be trained up for, have a good living, and they're telling us, 6-figure incomes on average. There'll be security, there'll be maintenance and grounds crew, but AI data center stuff is the way of the future. And I don't wanna miss an opportunity that could be beneficial for the townships, the schools, the county, and our youth who are growing up and looking for jobs out in the area. So, and there are people who shake heads and ask questions. We want questions to be asked. So if you have concerns, please voice them so we can voice them out for you. It's not to be perfect. Progress never is. Everything has some setback to it. New cars are fancy, but electronics break on them. It goes different directions. That there's gonna be negative stuff to it, but we're trying to make sure that it is by and large, all good stuff. Above 80%, I'd like to say. So. But we open discussions. We don't want to think we're like demanding it, and I'm sure rumors will spread, and that we're doing this for different reasons. But I have no problem standing in front of anybody talking about the reasons I've decided this and what we've talked about and the meetings we've had with multiple folks. So please, if you have concerns, we'd ask you bring them forward and ask them. So.
Have you had meetings with people on the opposite side that are against?
Yeah, we've had a few.
The planning commission meeting.
The planning commission had a public meeting to review the ordinance, and we have a lady that was here with us today. I mean, do you want to make any comment about that meeting or the conversation that was?
So my name is Danny Logue. I live in Covington Township. As I was saying, I'm 6th generation on our property. And I am concerned, and I do have concerns, but I do have to say that as much as I wanted to go, no, 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 because I really, in my heart, am devastated by the environmental impact that's already been here from the gas companies and what it's done to even our landscape in our little valley and watching the water dry up and things like that. So I do have environmental concerns. And on the flip side of that, I hear what you all are saying, and I was very pleased at the planning board meeting because I just came back after 2 years, and I get, you don't want your kids to go away, and unfortunately that's what happens. And it's only later in life that we're able to come back possibly. And so I get that too. And watching Ward after over 100 years go away, and I don't envy your position because you're trying to do a balancing act here. Because what we do have, and what I had said at the meeting was, how do we keep our Pennsylvania wilds wild? Because that, to me, is, for me personally, what I'm passionate about is our wild places here in Tioga County, Potter County, and surrounding areas. And so, yeah, I am very concerned about the water and the sound because it's not just us living here, it's the wildlife that lives here too. And part of what we discussed, and thank you, the planning board meeting, if you haven't been, you should really go because they were open, they were transparent, they were, here's an ordinance, we're trying to get ahead of this, we're not saying here it is and this is what we're doing, this is what we're trying to do. So I applaud you for doing that as well. But I am still concerned. And I am still very much like when I look at the night skies and even if somebody has a pole light, I can't. I hate them. Sorry. I hate those pole lights because I'm hearing the owls and I'm seeing the bats and I'm for the first time, and I can't tell you how many years, the fireflies by my place was just magnificent. So that's me. And that's my perspective. Now the other side of that is exactly what you were saying. Is that, jobs. We just lost the Foundry. And I'm concerned when they say that there's 600 jobs because we hear that a lot with a lot of industries, and then what does it actually trickle down to? So I guess my question, so I would say, nope, not a fan. Nope, not, and I'm still trying to educate myself because I'm seeing other counties that are struggling with this already. I'm sure everybody sees social media, and then they get your algorithm, and then they're like, oh, here, look, there's more, and it feeds your fire, and it feeds your flame. But I think my suggestion would be, you guys are being proactive, let's educate ourselves.
Yep.
Let's learn more about it. I'm not saying I'm a fan, but I do understand that we have to have some kind of, and so my question is, because I was waiting till everybody was done speaking, was you had mentioned 3 facilities?
Well, ideally, with the tax base, it would be nice to see one in each school district, from my point of view. I think that that would be a really good thing for the school district, you know.
Yeah.
But
And again, I think we have places to develop here in Tioga County. You know, we have places that have been mined for coal
yeah,
that are essentially a pretty good location for a data center.
Yeah,
There's
like-
not much around it.
yeah. And in conversation when they came here, and you know, the one site that surrounded a house, basically, we're like, we're never going to vote for this. You know, that we're going to push back on this. Nobody built their dream home to have it surrounded by this stuff. You know, I said, but you know, we have good farmland, we have good, you know, some beautiful scenic spots that we want to stay that way. With that said, we have some real blown out areas too. We have strip mines where everything has already been, years ago, for bad or worse, have been stripped out and nothing grows there. There's shale piles, pine trees, and weeds. You know, it's like, let's be mindful of what we're doing here and how we're situating things.
And if I may, I am still concerned about the water, because we live on spring water, and I know there's water coming down through Covington, but that's not gonna affect where I live. And, you know, we lived in Florida for a number of years, and the aquifer is now taking an impact because of the amount of people that are coming and building and things like that. I see things happening in different areas because there is this impact of building and people. And yeah, you know, that's why you have developed Tioga, right? So that, you know, we're developing it.
Yep.
But I don't want to lose what makes us Tioga County. And I hear you, because I hear you say that these are the things, our farmland and our wild places and our trails. And, you know, we were talking about it too, of being generational and wanting your kids or your grandkids or whatever to experience the same type of life that we had growing up. And I don't see that happen. I mean, I'm afraid.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I think that these conversations are exactly the conversations that we've been having now for the last month. You know, exactly the same conversations. And the truth of it is look, we all use, whether you know it or not, AI every day, you know, in our lives with our phones. This is something that's not going to go away. And they're going to build these things somewhere. If it's going to be here or if it's going to be Bradford County. So for this to happen and not get anything, any of the reward from it, you know, especially the jobs for younger kids, we could set up something with, you know, probably with Matt's help, we're going to talk to you about that anyway, with Conwell University, you know what I mean, to like, or with our high schools. Yes, please, Matt.
But don't think we're not skeptical too.
Yeah,
We have been putting these guys through the ringer, asking questions. So I don't think we're like, heck yeah, whatever you want, come on in, doors open. Like we ourselves are trying to be the safeguards to the county because that's what our job is.
Yeah.
Financially,
Amen.
any way we can impact it. So we are talking about it at night with our families, with our friends. We're losing sleep over. Like this is not a decision where we're like, cool, yeah, next thing. Like we are putting hours in each week. Our staff's putting hours in each week. Our planning, our GIS, our assessment folks have put in hundreds of hours into talking about this stuff and understanding what it is. So like, it is not a light decision. We're getting passionate about it, but like we ask us questions, please do. We're not trying to be secretive or behind closed doors about it. So
yes, I just want to commend you for your due diligence and for looking into this whole issue. I have people asking me all the time, what in the world is Tioga County doing with respect to this issue, because it is very unique and it's really quite new, so it does require an educational process. But I was listening to my good friend, former, well, he's a state senator now, he's a colleague of mine in the House. We served together. He's the chairman of the Environmental Energy Committee, Scott Hutchinson from Venango County.
Yep.
And he said it best, these are going to be built one way or another, whether you like it or not. And some communities are going to benefit from it, and if you don't do it, it's going to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Now, I just want to thank you for the discussion, because as someone who was involved in authoring Act 13
Yeah.
and providing a lot of this money to our counties, the Marcellus Shale people that I work closely with, they've been asking me, what's the county going to be doing here? And I'm glad that I can now say, you guys are really working on this and giving it a good work over and thinking about all the pros and cons. The question I have, because I haven't really been able to find an answer yet, is there's the job creation, there's the increased tax base, but also these are not cheap to build. So there's a lot of infrastructure investment for an area. Are these in the hundreds of millions? Are they $1 billion? What are we looking at there?
So the assessed value, we had Josh look at one in their campuses, guys. They're not just a little building. These are big buildings, it has a power plant on it, has a, power generator on it. And Josh?
So overall, the construction costs are reported in the range of $600 to $1,100 per square foot. And that does not include the cost of the hardware that actually goes into these facilities. They include overbuilt cooling systems, they have cooling towers, they have backup generators, raised floor, fire suppression. I mean, these buildings are overbuilt because the dollar value of the computer processing equipment that's stored inside of them. Just looking at some of the potential projects here in the county, we're talking in the billions as far as their investment into the county to build one of these facilities. It would include probably an on-site natural gas fire power plant, somewhere in the 1 to 2 gigawatt range potentially, depending on the size of the site. Now, as far as the tax base impact, we'll see a fraction of that. Again, there's a lot of personal property, machinery and equipment that's not taxable in Pennsylvania. We've done quite a bit of research into Virginia's market and seen what the impact has been in those areas. Now, they also tax, the machinery and equipment and stuff like that down there. So, I mean, it does have a huge potential for the tax base. At this point, we're dealing with very limited information. But for the school districts, the local municipalities, the county, these are numbers that we haven't seen and no other industry could even come close to at this point in time, in my opinion. So, when we talk about a potential $15 billion development or $30 billion development, and our tax base right now is, $3.8 billion, you're talking about, a substantial, could be a substantial impact to all the residents, in Tioga County.
Thank you.
And we want to manage people's expectations. We hear numbers that are like this, so we're trying to give conservative numbers and see what actually plays out. So, I mean, we know it could be a lot of things. So we're hoping to do the right thing and ask the right questions and make sure we do the best we can, what we know and what we can find out. So,
Yeah, and everybody knows last year, look, we came in, we had to raise taxes. That sucks. That was the last thing we wanted to do our first year in office, but that was the hand we're dealt. We have to play the hand we're dealt, not the one we want. And the cost of everything is continuously going up. We all know what inflation is doing. I'd like to think everybody in this room makes more today than they did 10 years ago or 15 years ago, right? The cost of everything goes up. Our employees, we can't just keep people at $13 an hour forever. We're never going to have anybody working. So as things go up, you have two choices: raise taxes or expand the tax base, right? And this is an opportunity to expand the tax base. And I hate to look at, the thing that bugs me about this whole issue is that there's mixing money with a principled issue. You know, like, I'm with you, you know, with all the stuff. And there's been great benefits to our community through the gas and oil industry. There has been, you know, for sure, for tax base, for jobs. Sam, I mean, support your family that way. You know, there's a lot of good things that happen, but it's a different place.
Yeah.
You know, it's different than it was.
I think the only thing I would add then is a little piece of indigenous wisdom is that whatever decisions you all decide to make, think about the 7 generations that come after you.
Absolutely. I appreciate your point, and I don't want anybody to think that we have some magic wand where we can deny or approve
Yeah,
these
that's
data
right.
centers, because
We're
we
trying to steer
absolutely-
this ship.
We absolutely cannot. What we have the authority to do through the Planning Commission is put guardrails on the potential future development. Yes, if they come here, we want to do it right. And that's what we're doing through that ordinance. And, you know, if you compare the ordinance we're creating for data centers to the ordinance we have for gas companies, it's a lot more restrictive for a data center than our gas companies.
But we learned lessons,
or our
too.
compression stations. And, you know, so we're taking what we've learned from the gas industry and, you know, we're applying it to this ordinance. Are there going to be things that we miss? Absolutely. Are we going to have to chuck and jive with things we find out through this process? Absolutely. But we're doing all we can as county commissioners to protect our community from any negative impacts from these data centers. And we hope we can do it right so that we can enjoy the positives of job creation, you know, possible reduction in millage rates to our constituents. You know, essentially, this would be a tax shift from our residents to one of these data centers. Those are the benefits that I think we are excited about, and we got to make sure we control the impacts. And you know, I think we're doing everything we can. I feel like we're ahead of a lot of counties in Pennsylvania right now with getting this ordinance up and running. And you know, we welcome folks to come to our December meeting. We are hopeful that we can get the ordinance finalized for our December meeting. So again, we'll have those guardrails in place before any of the developers potentially would, you know, break ground or make any requests to our townships. And again, that's really all we can do. That's all the authority we have.
Does this have the potential to be like Act 13, where if the county could get money? Like
Perhaps.
The state's working on some
Yep.
legislation. There's some bills about how we're going to handle that. The developer that, you know, has reached out to us is interested in working with the townships, you know, and trying to minimize that impact and even be a good steward to Tioga County. You know, the one thing we don't talk about much is the loss of Ward and their commitment to the public. You know,
Yeah.
every baseball team, soccer team, any kind of program, Ward was a sponsor. That's gone. You know, it'd be nice to have someone to fill that void. You know, and we feel that the data centers possibly could be that entity to fill that void for us. And they want to be good partners from what they're telling us, and you know, the things that they're wanting to do that they bring to the table. We don't bring that stuff up, but all right.
Thank you guys for the discussion, though. Appreciate it. And anytime you have questions, feel free to reach out to us. And
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
We will open up the Tioga County Salary Board. Public comments on agenda items only. Hearing none, I'll request a motion to approve the minutes from the October 14th meeting.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
We just have a few items for salary board this morning. First would be to approve the change of the risk manager position from a 40-hour workweek to a 32.5-hour week effective 1/1/26.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
The next item is to reclassify the voter registration clerk position from part-time to full-time, $16 per hour with benefits effective 11/17/25. The position is going to assist other offices as needed.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
And for information to create a temporary part-time position of the office manager, civil director for the sheriff's office at the rate of $20.39 per hour with no benefits effective 11/2/25. The position will be for a 12-month period.
I'll make a motion.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
We'll adjourn the salary board and we'll enter into the Tioga County Retirement Fund Board. Any public comments on agenda items only? All right, hearing none, I'll request a motion to approve the minutes from the October 14th meeting.
So moved.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Next up is to pay Citizen Northern Bank the October 25 management fee.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve the management fee. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
And the rest is just for information of the board.
All right, we will adjourn the Tioga County Retirement Fund Board, and I will hand it over to Commissioner Sam Van Loon.
All right, I will open up the Tioga County Elections Board. Any comments pertaining to that topic at this time? Seeing none, I'll move to look for approval for the minutes from the October 14th meeting.
I'll make the approval.
I have a motion. I have a second, please.
I'll second it.
I have a second. All in favor, vote with aye.
Aye.
Any highlights from our successful election?
We are now ready for our first signing, and then we will wait in 5 days and have our second one, and we'll be totally finished. Everything will be certified.
Some of you may have noticed walking in the front door this morning, we're drawing lots on November 21st. That's for folks who are tied. So in some areas, in some townships, we have people who had one vote each for 5 people for the same spot. So we will draw lots and select. Because sometimes you have people who write in their friends' names to be funny. So we will call them first, make sure they actually want the job before we give it to them. But that's kind of a fun little spin-off that happens in some of these local elections. So, anything else?
That'll be Friday at 10, and
Okay. Thank you for a nice, good meeting today. It was a good discussion.
Yeah.
I'll adjourn the election board meeting at this time.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome, sir. Appreciate it.
When is it interesting?